I guess I really didn't know how much rent is until I had to pay it every month. I'm working full-time and I go to school full-time.
Time out. Let me get this straight. How the hell do you find time for that?
I just find it. I get it done. But rent, it definitely does take a lot out of my income. Typically in New York, they require first month's, last month's security deposit and a broker's fee. That would have been at least $5-6 grand up front. I was just thinking, I don't even have that much in my bank account. I was just trying to avoid a broker's fee at all costs. It still doesn't make sense to me. The one who hands in my application gets some, it was so not for me. In my case, subletting allows for me to avoid those different fees. Taking a step back, I realize I'm doing things pretty well, if not more well than the average 20-year-old.
This is Lease on Life, a series about navigating rent, roommates, and life in a new city.
Hey, come on in. My name is Alyssa. I am 20 years old and I live in Stuytown. I'm studying advertising and marketing communications, and I work remotely for a telemedicine company. Hi, my name's Alyssa, calling from a provider's office regarding a mutual patient's prescription. Working from home allows me to leave the city when I want. I can try out new coffee shops. I can work from friends' apartments. What really allowed me to secure my apartment was my sister. She was like, I'm adding you to a bunch of group chats on Facebook. The university housings, NYC housing for students, NYC housing for girls. I was an avid Facebook user. In my case, the original roommate, who is on the lease, moved out and I then took over her portion of the rent. Subletting worked out because I avoided a broker's fee, also a last month's rent fee. It was just a security deposit and first month's rent up front. I pay $1,800 for rent, and that does include my Wi-Fi, utilities, water, electricity. Usually in a month, I'll make between $3,000 to $3,500. Straight out of that, first things first is the $1,800 for my rent. Groceries doesn't take up too much. Usually to budget for food, I meal prep and I make food and put it in containers. But a lot of my monthly income is experiences, seeing different places in New York. I don't shop too much for materialistic things. I really try to take advantage of the thrifting opportunities in New York. There's a lot of cool thrift shops. And over here we have our kitchen, which has a refrigerator, stove, microwave. We even have a dishwasher, which not a lot of New York City apartments have. Now we can go over this way. Right over here is our common area. And then we have our living room. My roommates that I live with, one is 25 and the other is 30. Honestly, I don't see my roommates that often. They have their own lives, I have my own life. I decided not to live with friends. From others' experiences, I've realized it can be hard living with friends. Things are very emotional, people can take things personal. And then over this way, we have my bedroom. My portraits on either ends of the bed, those are from my childhood home in Pennsylvania. And over here, we have more of my fun side. I love going out, I love hanging out with friends, eating, going on trips. And then we come to my rug. I love this rug. It is so cozy. I could sleep on this. I've preferred to sleep on this actually, sometimes. And it's pink, so that's my room. What I wish I knew before moving into my apartment was how much rent really is. Looking at the logistics of my monthly income and rent, I was like, no problem, that works. But really diving into my daily activities, I've realized it is a lot. And it definitely does take a lot out of my income, where I have to prioritize that first over some experiences. I'm not re-signing this lease. Although I love this bedroom so much, I really could have gotten a cheaper bedroom, which I didn't realize until I really lived in it, had to pay rent every month. So it was like a huge realization. Hey.
Do you want to come meet us? I think you could get there easily. Just take the L.
Okay. I love to explore, see new things. It can be a bit overwhelming leaving your apartment every day and seeing what New York has to offer, but My advice for making your income work for somebody coming to the city would be dive in on your priorities, what you like, whether it is experiences or being a foodie, and treat yourself to that on the weekends. You don't have to do it every day. When you sublease, you don't really have any ties attached, so it does allow you to go elsewhere if needed and you're not penalized legally. I was given an opportunity to work in London over the summer, so I'm taking that and I'm going to London. And it worked out that I do sublease right now. I do hope for the future that I do have an increased income and I'm in a career path that is more so what I want to do and kind of follow my dreams and enjoy the life that's ahead.